Been knocked down my whole life, but damn it, I got up. What's going on, everybody? Let's get your guard up. Today, this is your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. And today is Saturn's Day. Saturn's Day, August the 13th, 2022. And the time is 2:40 Central Time. As always, brothers and sisters, let's get right in. We're going to talk about the frequency resonance. Where did you live today? I was talking to my boy over in the UK, brother Colin, and we was grinding and shining. One of the things that we were discussing was the frequency resonance, which is the frequency resonance, which is where the beep do you live. So then I want to make sure that you got the right address. See, some of y'all high vibrational like QB lines and non-QB lines, you might be residing at the wrong locale. So I just want to know, I want to make sure, I want to assist. I mean, I'm your boy. I'm here to assist you with being you. I want to make sure that you are operating, vibrating, that you live at the right house. That some of y'all, I need to get about good news. You might be at the wrong place, boo-boo. You may be on the wrong frequency. So as your resident frequency assistant, I want to make sure that make sure that you check your address. Because you walk outside. Like, I got a physical address. I just moved. So I used to live on Fox Grove Way. Now I live on Old Gage. Right. It's a weird name. It's 3 words together. And I got to change my address now. So I got to go let the post office know, billing, like banking, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into changing your address. So I get a new mailbox. And guess what? I get a new mailbox key. And I can open my mailbox. And that mailbox allows me to do what? Take out my mail. And that specific mail is addressed to me. It has my name on it. No other Muslim can legally get my mail, open my mail, and read my mail. That mail is my mail. So nobody should get my mail. Now, some people steal other people's mail. They shouldn't, but they do. So I want to make sure that you got the right address. Because what happens is, like, you go to GPS, I'm going to visit you, but you give me the wrong address. Could be intentionally, could be accidentally. Hopefully it was an accident. So how do you get your right address? Well, your frequency resonance, that is the specific sound, wave, and vibration that is only yours. It's just like your fingerprint. They say that no 2 people on the planet have the same fingerprint. The reason why I'm so excited about the class that's coming up in a couple of days is now we get into the science behind how that resonance, that divine guidance, that information that is from the ether, that gives the alignment with your assignment. So you're able to lead with your life, not with your lips. So I'm not that dude. I like talking, but I don't like talking when it comes to lead. Like I said the other day, I like to lead by example. And I like to talk, that's not get it twisted. However, I like to talk with my energy. I like to lead with my frequency. So I'm a frequency generator. So as a frequency generator, I have my own resonance. So there's a frequency resonance formula or frequency resonance. The word resonance means to resound. So the frequency that is returning to sound or source. So resonance is nothing but the amplification of a vibration. So whenever a vibration is transmitted, a vibration is nothing but electricity and magnetized thought. So whenever a thought is transmitted to another object, another person, place, or thing, it has a natural frequency. And if that natural frequency is the same as anything else in its surrounding vibration, it connects with it. So that's the frequency resonance of vibration. And it's interesting because when we talk about resounding, so resonant frequency is just this ability for a natural frequency of the object, you, to vibrate at a higher amplitude. That's it. It's what is called a collective oscillation force. That's you. So your address in the spirit realm, this is your spiritual address. Now, once you tap into this spiritual address, everything that's mailed to you automatically comes to you unless you don't go check your mail. All of you guys got checks in the mail. You just ain't went to the mailbox to pick the shit out. Now, I don't know why you would not go check your mail. Other than the fact, some of you guys, like, I cannot go back to at the end of this month anyway. I'm in the process of doing it, but I wanted to. This is why I kind of said you have to live in both places for 30 days to make sure that the banking, credit card receipts, all of that stuff is an easy and a smooth transition. Because I've been at the last frequency resonance for 10 years. So now I got to change. I got to notify family members, holidays coming up, blah, blah, blah. So I got to let everybody know that, hey, my address is not to change. It's not to change. It's not the same. It's very important, brothers and sisters, that your frequency doesn't change by external demonstration. I'm not going to change my address, man, because somebody says, like, I'm sure there may be people in this neighborhood. I mean, this is, upscale, white folk. So this morning, went for a walk around the neighborhood with the outlaws. The in-laws. Don't tell nobody I said that. No, I'm just saying. So the outlaws or the in-laws, Dr. Morrison, you know what I'm talking about, came by, so we went for a walk around the neighborhood. Well, I'm sure there are some of those good old Caucasians that didn't like us Negroids walking around the neighborhood. Because there's very few, Alquilados in this neighborhood. There's a lot of Caucasians in this neighborhood. But I can assure them I got the right address because I got the key. And every day, I don't need a key. You just punch in the code to unlock the door. But I still got the key in case the code is let up. So what am I saying? Well, what am I saying is I got the key, boo-boo. And I got the deed, the payment to go along with it, too. So your job is do you got the key to your house? I mean, I'm just wondering. Sister Shirley, when you go home, Sister Shirley, what? Do you got to call somebody to unlock the door for you, like I did when I was 13? Sister Shirley, I ain't 13 no more, Sister Shirley, so I got the key in my pocket now. So I can unlock the door and lock the door anytime I want. And I got the key to the mailbox, Sister Shirley. I can go down there, unlock the mailbox. And I can open up the mail, and everything that's in the mail, checks and bills. Now, I need to let everybody know a secret. I love bills because they are dollar bills. Bills is money. But do we look at bills because we don't put dollar in front of the word bill? So all bills for me are dollar bills. So when a bill comes in, source never, ever sends you somewhere or something without provisions to go with somewhere or something. The mere fact that you got a bill proves you got dollars. Where God leads, God provides. on the way out, unless you got the, you got the other God. Like, maybe I got the wrong God. So the big G, which is inside of me, gives me the ability to generate operating threats. So today, as I was telling my buddy, Brother Colin, you should be in a productive state. You should be in a very jovial state today. You should be happy. You should be giddy. Because today, you are in the land of the living. If you woke up this morning, you can do this. Woo-wee! Because somebody did not wake up this morning. Somebody does not have air in their lungs this morning. Somebody does not have the activities of the limb. Somebody was walking around, and now today they're in a wheelchair. Somebody, like, I watch the news every night. And here in San Antonio, it's crazy, man. It's like, on average, at least 3 to 5 murders, shot, people ran over, death. Every day somebody's born, every day somebody dies. You are here. Right now, you're listening to me. The fact, let me let you guys in on another secret of why I'm at the right residence. I got the right address. I know I got the right address. I know I got the right address. How do I know I got the right residence? This is my frequency, but this is my spiritual address. This is my spiritual residence. This is where I, mother feet, reside. It's interesting because if you reside somewhere, there are certain attributes and characteristics that come along with your residency. So I need you to understand frequency resonance is a formula. Just like I reside in a specific location. And I have something called wave velocity. Now, the wave velocity represents the distance of the wavelength. So my residence, my physical address, is a formula that states there is a distance from where I am at to anywhere I want to go based upon my residence. So right now I am residing at, let's say you are residing at 100K a year. That is your monetary address. Everybody should put in, so whatever amount of money you make a year, put that in there. 100, 200, 300, 30,000, 40,000, 20,000, whatever. So that's your current address. Now, you want to go to another address. You want to move. So what I did was, when I started looking for another address, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. You guys remember, I still got the paper on my wall today. And I wrote down, I was 2 years ago, and I wrote down school district. I wrote down vaulted ceilings. I wrote down large living room. I wrote down entertainment area. I wrote down office downstairs. I wrote down island in the kitchen. I wrote down master bedroom downstairs. I wrote down large backyard and or pool. I wrote down large walk-in closet. I wrote down over 4,000 square feet. I wrote down monthly payments. Everything that I wrote down, I'm living it right now. I gotta say that again, man. Y'all didn't. Oh man, Vicky said y'all didn't get it. Y'all know I keep saying the same shit almost every show. So there's no way nobody listened to me. I don't understand. I mean, I understand, but I don't. Now, this is simple. As I'm talking to you right now, you could write down, it should be 5 to 7 words. It's not a damn story. You ain't got to write a damn book. You just should write down somewhere on a piece of paper, whatever, where you want to live. You can live anywhere you want to live. Now, once you write down where you want to live, let's go to my example. So I live at 365K. I live at 1K a day. That's where I live financially. So if I live at 365, that frequency, wave vibration, establishes what is called a wavelength in the field of physics. So the wavelength is a resonance. It is what is called the multiplier of velocity. Now, we're getting ready to change the way you think. Because remember, Adam is thinking in his heart, so is he, or so is she. So resonance in physics simply means that there's a relatively selective response for a person, place, or thing to vibrate in step or in phase with an external oscillating force. That just simply means that resonance is an acoustical pattern, similar to the sound that a musical instrument makes that is heard by a human ear. So resonance is simply the formula, if you want to use that term, which you're going to be breaking down if we get to it during the next class. So this determines the dynamics of the vibration that establishes what is called standing waves. That just simply means in physics, waves, they collapse into a particle. We call that money. We call that a person, a place, or a thing. So waves means your faithfulness, your commitment, and your willingness, the shit's whack. You are in a hazy state. That means it's like you're driving, you kind of know your address, but let's say you live in, what's a place, like London, right? But they say it gets really foggy over there in London. And so your visibility is poor. You can't see shit yet. So therefore, you got the address, but you're not faithful, you're not committed, and you're not willing. So it's foggy. The wave has not collapsed due to a lack of velocity. No focus, no discipline, no order. So your job is to increase your velocity. So now the velocity is the speed of motion or operation. It is the swiftness. It is what is called the rate of change. So in order for you to manifest something, you got to increase your velocity. So how do you increase your velocity? Well, number one, you got to have crystal clear clarity of where the beat is going. That's what, remember we said that earlier, write this shit down. So I have crystal clear clarity of where I'm going in the areas of wealth, health, wisdom, and getting my toes cold. So most people, they don't have clarity. So since they have clarity, they don't have awareness or consciousness. If there's no awareness, you can't be competent. So that's why when you wake up in the morning, you know what the fuck to do. Because you don't have no competency. Now, competency means you're the best, and so that means you can be a consultant. Because you're competent. You know what the fuck you're doing. Unless you don't know what you're doing. Because you don't have perception of what? Well, I see people promoting other people's shit all the time. Why? Because they can't promote their own. Why? They don't know their own. Why? They watch Love and Hip Hop. They know everything about, the housewives of Atlanta. They don't know shit about themselves. Why? They don't like themselves. Why? Well, mommy and daddy didn't give them the attention that they needed when they were their shooters. And they never did the shadow work. Why? Shadow work is hard to do. The hardest thing in the world to do is to actually find out why you don't like yourself. Like why you don't want to post your picture on Facebook. You post everybody else's picture, but you won't post your own. Now you post everybody else's book, but you won't post your own book. You'll post posts, you'll post scriptures, you'll search the internet, you'll post pictures. I was talking to people, and I like doing this because I already know how. I knew I asked a question I don't know the answer to. So I'm in a house that has high ceiling, a lot of walls. And I was asking a family member, and they said, about art. And they said, yeah, you can get art and put art on the walls and blah, blah, blah. Well, I put up, and I got at least 100, man, probably more than that, pictures. And then I had one family member that's like, oh no, don't put personal pictures on your wall. And I thought about that for a moment, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. This is why I love talking to people. People will tell you everything you need to know. Just listen to them. Most people, you ain't got to ask them no questions. They'll just start talking. They'll tell you everything. Just listen. And so the person who said that, I already knew that person doesn't like themselves. So if you come to my house, if you're going to see in my house, you don't see no pictures of some mother I don't know. You're going to see my black ass on the wall because this is my house. And you're going to see my family and my frenemies. Why? Because this is my residence. This is my residence. It is the hardest thing in the world to establish your own residence. In fact, it's damn near impossible. It's pretty much everything I talk about is almost impossible because everything I talk about requires you to love yourself. That's love. Charity, everything starts with charity, but charity doesn't have nothing to do with anybody else but you. So the church never told you to love you. Everybody loves you. They hate themselves though. You love Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, and all. You love other things. You love other people, other places, and I'm saying not you personally, of course, but people, how do I know? Look at your time, look at your money, look at how you live your life. So there is no residence. So I got an address. It just changed from my old address. So now technically for the month of August, I got 2 addresses. But the old address, everything is moved out. I'm just over there moving little stuff now. So I don't have 2 addresses because I wrote down 2 years ago exactly what I'm living right now. I still got the piece of paper. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you if you need proof. So the way that I got here is what we're talking about today. So I didn't get here like by, oh shit, like somebody just, gave me a key and said, here you go, Doc, we love you so much, my brother. We're going to bless you with a new house. That would be great. No, I drive a very nice car. Everywhere I go, I don't really drive it that much because, I like talking to people, but I don't like talking to people that much unless I'm getting paid to talk. But that car is parked at my residence. You should ask yourself, why? Well, I live here. So why the fuck would I put somebody else's name and pictures on my wall? What, do I look slow? But if I go to your house, I guarantee you I can see pictures of somebody else on your wall. Some people buy pictures and they never take, how you go to Walmart, you get a frame and they got some white folks in there. I went to people's houses and seen pictures of people that they don't even know. Now I asked them, hey, who is that? Oh, it's just decorative. I just put that up there because I didn't have. Wow. There's right now people who on Facebook, they got pictures of themselves. They got animals. Look at the profile picture. They got a picture of the sky. That is the number one sign of self-hate. Talk to a therapist and ask them, see, I know why everybody does what they do. The only question is, do you? So I don't care where you are right now. The question is, why are you there? Why do you live at that spiritual address? Because we're talking about your spiritual residence. And it's interesting to me that your spiritual residence, where you live at, right now, this is where you are residing at spiritually. Most people don't even know. So it's like you go into somebody else's house and you open in the door and you go in and then none of the pictures on the wall you recognize. You don't know where none of the light switches are at. It's like the first time I walked into this house, but I knew where everything was at, but it's like, okay, which light switch controls what? So I have to learn a new resident. But I had the right address. Now, as we said at the beginning of this show, frequency residing residence requires one to be faithful, committed, and willing. Because what is your spiritual address? Your spiritual address is your frequency that you are resending every day or resounding. So you get to select and change your address anytime you want. So I would just recommend this. Number one, where are you at right now? Again, I live at 365K a year, San Antonio, Texas. That is my financial address. I also have a health address, which is every organ in my body functions according to its purpose. That's my address. I don't really care about if I weigh 500 pounds or 200 pounds. I'm not interested in the weight. Now, I'm also not interested in being obese or being a stick. But as far as the exact weight, that's not a major concern for me. That's my health address. My wisdom address is I'm always the smartest man in the room. Everywhere I go, I have access to all knowledge. So I live where source lives, mentally. So my brain is inside of God's brain. Our brains are one. So whatever God knows, I know. So since God is all-knowing, all-power, all-present, all-simple, all-love, I'm all-knowing, all-power, all-present, all-simple, all-love. That's why I live at mentally or wisdom-wise. Relationship, I'm able to relate to anybody, black, white, Chinese, Greek, Aramaic, it doesn't matter. Because I have superior intelligence to defuse any conflict. I have superior conflict resolution skills. So I'm in a relationship with myself, with my God, and with others who are on the same vibration as me. So my energy is not entangled with non-entities. This is why my energy is not wasted. Because I vibrate on the level of the law of the equivalent exchange. So whatever I send out returns back to me. And it turns back to me tenfold. So the more I spend, the more I win. So I can never be broke. Because it always, if I spend $1, $10 comes back. So that's why I like spending money. Because the faster I spend it, the more I win it. So I'm not afraid or concerned with how much money is going out. I just monitor and stay focused on how much money is coming in. Because that's how I win. Because I'm faithful, I'm committed, and I'm willing to reside at the address. So once you, like this address, I moved from one physical location to another physical location. Well, the mortgage at this location is significantly more than the mortgage at the old location. The payment, let's say, on the Corvette is significantly more than the payment on the Camaro. In other words, you could buy pretty much 4 Camaros for the price of 1 Corvette. So some people will be concerned with the increase. But the more money goes out, the more money comes in. If you know how to win. So that's the, remember, we're talking about what we're breaking down on August the 15th, which is what we've been leading up to every day, and I've been going through how you pray. So I pray according to the rules of God. So God, we use the have principle. So God, our highest value statement is I have. We also use I am and I can. But God, we operate on the highest. We got very high esteem. So we have a very high value statement. So when you are God, you're a generator, you're an operator and a director. So that means as a God, you live outside of your list. You have a list of priorities, values, and morals. You wrote it down and you throw it away. Because you know that source wishes to do exceedingly abundantly above anything that you can ask or think. So I can ask and I can think of a lot of shit. But the big G said, I'm going to blow your doors off, man. So I like, ooh, that Christmas Day surprise me, God. What you got for me, bro? So now I have an expectation. So every day I wake up, I'm giddy and I'm happy. Because my mental power is based upon my empowerment. And my empowerment is based upon the empowerment. So ment is mental. So I got a mentality that established spiritual, what we call power. And this power allows me to control my electricity and my magnetism, which we call thoughts. So when I wake up, I don't have to use thought control because my thoughts are controlled by my mental disposition. So my mental disposition, gives me the ability to manage my time. It gives me the ability to consciously move forward, and it gives me the ability to establish financial security because I have self-reliance. So I'm not relying upon the government. I'm not relying upon people, places, or things. I'm relying upon a mental disposition that says I have been given everything that I need for life and godliness. So now I have a principle in place. It's called the have principle, which we've been breaking down. So I have a stream of consciousness. So my consciousness is not hidden in it like most people. It doesn't change. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Because remember, I'm the vibrational equivalent of God on earth. So this is what we're teaching. This is what I'm teaching. So I'm teaching you. Now remember, I got something called fruit. So you can come to my house and you can look at my fruit if you want. You can see that I walk the walk and talk the talk because I have a unified awareness with God. That is the universal unified field of physics. This is the metaphysics and the science of super unification. So that's what we break it down. We break it down meta-netter, M-E-T-U-N-E-T-E-R. This is not taught at Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. So the universe is based upon a mathematical principle, not a religious belief. So you got a belief. Boo-boo, I got a motherfucking principle that trumps your belief. I mean, not you personally, but, Negroes, you know. So now my character is the same as God's. And now my connection is connected to God. Now my credibility comes from God. And my call to action trumps other gods. So now I am an authentic authority figure in my frequency, waves, and vibrations. So on my level, there is no devil. That is the game of God. So God uses information that is demonized by men. So every man who come into this knowledge, they see the power of meta-netter, and they hoard it for themselves. They turn it into a secret society. They take it and they put it underneath the Vatican or the Smithsonian. And they tell you low vibration like Cuban arms, that shit is of the devil. If you study it, you're going to get, the devil going to show you, you're going to go to hell. You're going to die in your sin, and y'all niggas believe that shit. So y'all don't read the shit I read. I mean, not you personally, but people know. So you don't know what they put in the movie The Eternals. You think you're a deviant. You don't know that you're an eternal. You don't know that you are a co-equal. You're a joint heir, royal priest, a holy nation. Even though it tells you this shit in the Bible, even though it says in the Old Testament and the New Testament, do you not know that ye are gods, but you will die like men? No, TD Jakes don't tell you that shit. So you don't know that your assumptions harden matter into fact that must match the assumption. You don't know. Now, it's not your fault because they don't teach this shit at Evans Baptist. So, unfortunately, we don't know how to shift timelines, most of us, which is why I'm teaching it. So, you got to start seeing images in your brain that allows you to be able to maintain. And that's the have principle. Because the Bible says to him that has more shall be given. So that means, how would you feel after? So that's the other principle. That's called the after principle. Both principles you should be using every day. So every day I just ask myself one question. How would I feel if I have my desires fulfilled? Whatever that feeling is, maintain it. You feel that. I don't care what, but Doc, what about reality? Fuck reality, bro. I don't live in reality. I live in source code mentality. That's a whole other level. There's no devils up there. Just source. Hero Israel, the Lord your God is one. There's only one frequency, one way, one verb, one vibe. Everybody else, everything else is a dumbed down version of the original. So no, I don't have a list of principles. I don't have a list of morals and a list of beliefs. I just got one. That's it. I got one frequency. It's the vibration equivalent of source code on Earth. So that means I have what is called the after. So that means you just write down the sentence. You just fill in the blank. How would you feel after you won the lottery? Now, you should have a statement for each area of wealth, health, wisdom, and relationship using the have principle and the after principle, which I'll be breaking down the science behind it starting on August the 15th. Again, cost $249. Now, let's make it simple. There is no stream of consciousness. To him that has, more shall be given. So it's like spotty internet service. When we first moved in, the new address, because it's a brand new subdivision, we are the third family to move here. So that's like, we got here, AT&T was like, we didn't even got cable out there. We got no network. There's no infrastructure, nothing out there. We got here, the trash was like, we didn't go out there. Called the city, the kids like, we don't even go out there. So I was like, damn, I got a neighborhood, you ain't got no damn utilities out here? I said, well, yeah, we got the basics, but the city still is arguing over existence considered the city. Well, it's an unincorporated area. Well, it falls on the county. So we call it the city, we call it the county, call it the state, trying to figure out who the people are going to provide services. Because it's way out of the city limits. So when I got here, the internet service, and it's still, it came out, they repaired it, put in. Thankfully, Spectrum came out, they was like, man, we're going to put the service in. So they came out here, they were digging holes, putting wires, and, cables and all of this stuff. So everybody's going with them because they were smart. They were like, okay, this neighborhood is going to have a bunch of houses. We are in phase 1 of 5 phases. If you go to the offices and you look at the plat and the plan, there's a bunch of houses that's going to be good. So the water guy who came up and set up the water system and blah, 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 and then, we got the security, they smart. They got in cahoots with the builder. Now, we got the right of refusal also always, but the builders are able to get a guy and get a huge discount if he go with these guys. They unified their field to control what physically goes on here. You should do the same thing with your own body. You should unify your gut, your heart, and your head should establish a united feeling. That should be a physical feeling of being unified with Source. That's the point of the universal unified field of physics that starts on August the 15th. So that way you can establish your spiritual residence. So spiritually, you reside at a specific location. So everybody in the spirit realm knows that's where Dr. Martinet lives at. Everybody knows that's where the Shore of the West lives. So everybody knows that's where my boy Brother Joseph lives. That's where Brother Colin lives. Up over there, that's where Sister Diana lives. Over there, that's where Sister Sandra lives. So everybody has a residence. So I live at 336 Spiritual Frequency Lane. That's where I live because that's my path. So that's the road that I come on to 336. That's the road I live on. So the question is, where you live? Well, I gave you your address. So now you got to be faithful. You got to be committed. And you got to be willing. So let's wrap this up. Okay, Doc, that sounds great, brother. But what do you mean by being faithful? Oh, man. You see, brothers and sisters, physically feeling unified with God. Nobody, it's really rare because people get affected by reality. Like for 2 years, every week, we were told that this house that I'm sitting in right now, that started out at about 700,000, now at $1 million. We were told, and remember I told you guys about the 20 no theory, 21 no's? We were told 21, I went through like 30, I was counting. I went through at least about 35 different lenders. Because they all said no. No. Every time something we be going on, everything started off good. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers, interest rates went up. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers, your wife's credit. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers, we can do it, but we need X amount of money down. Or we need to do a double, because of the amount of the property, we need 2 mortgages. You got to set up a double mortgage. In Texas, they use double mortgages. They do 1 for 5, and then anything over 5, they do the second mortgage. I said, nope, not doing that. Then they have the adjustable rate mortgages where the interest rate is not set. It just goes up and down depending on the market. I ain't doing that. So all of this stuff was offered to me to see if I wanted to settle. And all of the no's, as I told you guys before, these are the 5 things that happen to challenge your residence. Number 1, if you decide to live at 365K a year address, that's where I live. So I live at 365, Financial Lane. That's where I live. So if you go into the spirit realm, and if you meditate, you will see, hey, there goes Doc. He live over there at 365 Frequency Lane. So when it comes to finances, my currency is $365 or $1,000 a day. That's where I live at. So for me to stay there, though, I got to be faithful. I got to be committed, and I got to be willing to do whatever it fucking takes, legally preferably, to stay at that address. So when I established this address, and we signed the paperwork for them to start building, and then the lender builders was like, well, shit, we don't really care who you use. We got a preferred lender. We tried their preferred lender, and they were talking cray-cray. So we said next. And so we was going through these different lenders, and they were always telling them, like always, to get you in the door, to run the credit. Oh, yeah, shit, no problem, Mr. Rogers. And then we get in, it's like, well, Mr. Rogers, this, and like I'll tell the wife and tell you guys the same thing. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. What do you say? You command the universe. You don't ask. You're supposed to declare and decree. You're supposed to call those things that are not as though they were. You're supposed to say unto that mountain, be thou removed and be cast into the sea. And if you don't doubt in your heart, that shit's going to be done. But you want to live there, but you're not faithful, committed, and willing to live there. That's why you can't live there. Not you personally, but people get on. So I don't care where you live. You can live at, $1 a day frequency lane. So it is done unto you as you believe. So I got one question for you. How's your faith, boo-boo? See, faith is Pistis Pistua title. Faith is the ability to induce oneself to believe by words. That's faith. Let me say that again. Notice I didn't say what Jesus said, what Buddha said. Notice I said you induce yourself. Now remember, I've done 1,000 shows. Maybe not that many, but quite a few on faith. Nothing in the world is more important than faith. Now, I don't like the word faith because it's a Christian term. And it's watered down, and everybody says, well, when I say faith, I'm like, oh, shit, I know what you mean, brother, praise Jesus. No, nigga, that's not what I mean. So faith is the have principle. Faith is the after principle. So you do not have faith unless you live in the after point. So faith is after you get paid. How do you feel? You should feel like that before you get paid. Faith is after you reach your weight loss goal. What's your weight loss goal? Okay, you 350. Your weight loss goal is 250. Okay, you should walk around every day like you're 250. You should buy clothes. You should talk to you. You should hang out with people. You should already be where you try to go. Because there's no such thing as trying. Trying doesn't exist. That's the reason the Kibelon doesn't manifest shitness. Because he's trying. Bump that. I don't try. I am. I can. I have. That's the only thing in my vocabulary. So people tell me, well, Mr. Rogers, for 2 years, all I kept saying is I am. I can. I drove by the house. I took pictures. I did videos. The whole time I was doing videos, walking around taking pictures, the shit documented on my TikTok video. This is why I say shit in advance. And I dare a mother to tell me this shit's not going to happen. Everybody I know is scared. They do shit in secret. Not this nigga. I tell every motherfucker that is listening. And I hope and wish a Negro would. Without that disposition, stay your ass on the porch. Not you personally, of course, but people you know. See, the game has changed, brothers and sisters. I don't know if I can figure out the frequency. I'm on a whole new game. Because I see, now I know. Because I'm in $1 million house, man. Stop playing. I just started shit. I'm getting ready going on to a 2.5 mil next. 10 bedroom, 6-car garage on the beach. Stick around. Get your popcorn, bruh. Because I got a stream of consciousness that's based upon mathematical certainty, not religious belief. See, you got to understand how to control without being controlled. Ooh, they don't teach that shit at Harvard. See, the how principle states, to him that has, more shall be given. See, y'all ain't got shit, so that way you can't have shit. Not you personally. We're talking about those other Negroes. Not you, how about version like keep it honest. Well, Doc, that sounds good on paper, brother. That's like what they call verbal judo. That's just mumbo jumbo, but brother, I live in the real world. Negro, I do too. The real world is in my head. Because subatomic particles, the invisible controls the visible, according to Hebrews 11, 1, 2, and 3. It's in your Bible too. So that means the visible is created by the invisible. Ooh, that'll preach right there. So the how principle states, see, I already have. So I'm in the after point. So after you walk the stage from your historically black college, how do you feel? So while you are in the place where you're functionally literate, you should feel like you got a PhD in boomquishaology or whatever you're going to school for. So I got one question for you today. Where you live at? So your spiritual address is your feelings. So again, let me ask you the question. Where you live? Or you to get it, where are you living, brothers? Where you living, sister? See, you should be living where I'm living. Ooh-wee. See, shit, I live in a high rent district, bruh. There's a guard at the gate. Your ass can't come in unless you are co-eternal. See, no deviant can come up here. I'm on the level that where there's no deviancy. There's no devils up here. There's only gods and goddesses. So the average will keep it on, hey, about they won't let you in. It's like you're going to the club and your name is not on the list. So sorry. Your name got to be on, is your name written in the book of life? Who put your name in the book of life? You do. Do you know what a book is? Anybody? Well, I got 300 of them. And do you know that all of my books, they got all of my words in there? Who wrote the book? Come on, man. So you mean to tell me, people tell me, well, God, I'm just believing Jesus. He put my name in the book. Nigga, put your own mother name in the book. Because it is your book. You are the book of life. Your life is the book. So there is no mystical book with a name in it. Is you. Do you notice that all this comes back to you? That's why the only thing that matters is you. That's why if you're not reading and studying about you, I don't know what the fuck you doing. Because you will not fight your way out of a wet paper bag unless you are Superman and Superwoman. Unless you got an attitude that says, I wish I would run up on me if you want to, you don't get knocked up. If you didn't got that disposition, boo-boo, you stay your ass at home. Because out here is lions out here. There's real lions out here. We like to eat you. I'm a predator. The average Negro is prey. So you got to, hey, choose one. Either you predator or prey. And the way that you become a predator is you, when you get married, you're supposed to be faithful. You're supposed to be committed and you're supposed to be willing. That's what marriage is a watered down version of holy matrimony. That's Lucifer's version of a spiritual act. Marriage ain't got shit to do with the other party. Marriage has to do with your commitment to yourself. You can't marry me if you can't marry yourself. So there's very few marriages that are really marriages because how you going to marry somebody and you ain't even married to yourself? In other words, you mean to tell me you're not faithful to yourself. What does it mean? You tell yourself you're going to get tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and work out. 8 o'clock comes around, you're like, oh, shit, we'll do it. I'm going to start tomorrow. Why? Nobody's there to hold you accountable but you. So, come on, man, stop it. How many people can be self-employed? You know what happens with people who are self-employed? People tell me this all the time. I don't know how you do it. All my family members say, shit, bro. You do what? So, let me get this right. So how you know if you set up a course, people are going to sign up for it? Well, you don't. So how you know you're going to make money? Well, you don't. So how you gonna pay your bills? Like that you ain't got no. Hold up, let me get this right. So you ain't got no you ain't got no contract. You got to set up on an automatic payment plan. So you don't know you don't know what's gonna happen. So everybody, my family members like, he crazy as hell. I'm gonna stay on my job because I got guaranteed. Now they don't know they can get fired tomorrow. They don't know that they're just like me. But it's a false sense of security. Like when I was active duty military, man, just show up, you get a check. Until I found out if your ass pop positive on the urinalysis test, they take your money. Or if you debate a direct order, they take your money. Or if you go up to there and you don't shave, if you don't got a no shaving kit, they take your money. Or if your uniform is wrinkled, they take your money. So I found out because I worked in illegal when I was active duty. This is what I did. I took a lot of people's money. And I saw, I'm like, shit, this is just like the same thing I do. So I figured there's risk in everything unless you remove the risk. How do you remove the risk? How much you write this down? Be the best at what you do. Now, what's that mean in English? Well, I don't have competition. Why? So how can I be the best at what I do if who has the life management system? Who has a vehicle report exactly like mine? So not only I'm the only person that does what I do, I'm also the best because I got no competition. So when I talk, as long as I have the 7 C's, so the only war is with myself. And a lot of y'all beautiful, I almost said something that would probably get me in trouble. I keep it on. A lot of y'all are at war with yourself, and you don't believe it. You don't believe in yourself. How do I know? Look how you treat yourself. So what does that mean? Well, I have no problem doing 3 to 5 videos a day with my handsome mug on it. Some of y'all will say, Nico, you are not handsome. Well, thank you for your opinion. But guess what? You're not in my head. So the only person that I got to convince that I look good is me. See, that's easy. So the only person, look at this right now, so I'm trying to help you guys out. So my money is based upon my belief. Now you should be saying, Doc, that's bullshit. Well, let's as we wrap this up, because I know this y'all got shit to do. You know, some of y'all got to go. You know, you got to go. I'm just messing with y'all. But if you got to read it though, let's go to Hebrews. Let me tell you how the world works. When I found this out, Dr. Span, when I found this out, they should have told me, man. They should have told me, Dr. Span. Dr. Martinet, I know what I'm talking about. Dr. Martinet is a world-class student. Right, Dr. Martinet? I don't know why Dr. Martinet is retired. Dr. Martinet, are you retired? I think she's semi-retired. So she sings on the DL. Now, I know why she sings on the DL, but I don't know why she sings on the DL. In fact, I know everybody. Like, even my boy, like Dr. Jerome Span is one of the best mechanics that I know. And he's actually an honest mechanic, which is he's the first one I've met. I don't know why Dr. Jerome Span is not on TikTok every day. Other than the fact that he's probably making enough money that he don't have to be. That's something I think that he's not on TikTok. Every morning, if I was Dr. Jerome, on my way to work on somebody's brakes, I would do a 15-second video. Hey, this morning, I got a job at blah, blah, blah. I'm working on I'm going to take out a starter. I'll put in an alternator. Why? That bills. What's it bill? Those seeds that I was telling you guys about. See, money is crazy, man. Money is so easy to make. It's like, people worry about the easiest thing. Money is just confidence. When you are so brazen, when I found that out, it was just like, shit, taking candy from a baby. I mean, I got brazen with it. Because I found out that if you are, number one, confident. Now, how do you get the confidence, though? That's in my 7 C's, which we're going to talk about. I'm trying to make sure you understand money. Because people tell me, Doc, I got money problems. And I don't understand how you can have money problems because of the internet. The internet is like scary. Internet money is scary money. Like, I started making money so fast, I scared myself. Like, for real. And then I stopped. And then I was like, what the fuck, I stopped. Because I was making so much money so fast that I couldn't keep up. So that's not inside of the room. And I need to hire some people. And I started hiring some people. And then it was just like, the people that I was hiring, they wasn't doing shit. I was just paying them. So I started looking at, okay, just hiring the people that was actually had the same vibration as me, which is where I'm at now. So now I see that, oh shit, we live in a world of endless opportunities. So that means nothing should be feared. So that means I can't fail. All I gotta do is master my own thoughts. So when I figured that out, I was like, shit. So this ain't got nothing to do with studying and researching and marketing and everything that everybody's talking about. This is called non-local consciousness. I'm going to break it down on August the 15th. Because you got to steal the mind. When I realized that money is a mind game, so remember the audio book I did on the monkey mind? The M-O-N is money. K-E-Y is key. So the monkey got the key to your money. Remember, we did that show. So people who are broke, they're out of tune. That means they don't have the right frequency. That means they don't have the frequency. They're not going to the place where their money's at. So your money is at your frequency residence. So it's like I tell you guys, I can buy you Christmas presents and put them under the tree. If you don't go pick that motherfucker up and open it, it ain't on me, boo. I gave you the present. It's under the tree. See, there's checks in the mail. Y'all not going to the mailbox. Take the checks out. See, that's money. It's in there. But you're not in tune. That means you're not tuned by what is called the inner, E-N-T-E-R. That means you're not tuned by the inner, I-N-N-E-R. So you're not tuned into the enter. So you can't enter unless you are inner. See, you'll never be good enough for the wrong person. And you'll never be wrong enough for the right person. Damn. That'll preach. What does that mean? See, I'm a master teacher 33. I can never go wrong as long as I go to my house where I live, because I have the key to open that door and walk in, and everything in that house is mine. Past tense, I have been given everything. You got the wrong address. So you come into my house and you got your key and you're like, shit. I mean, the key's not open. You said, no shit. This is my house, bro. So the devil can't take what God has for me. And he can't take what? I mean, there's no devil. The devil is just your own negative thinking. So when you get out of tune, it's like music. It's like a tuning fork. See, you got contradictory experiences. You got an experience that you had in your life, and you got an experience that God has given you in your DNA. They contradict each other. You are listening to your life experiences and not your past, prior existence with Source. Now, you have a prior existence that when you lived with God, y'all hung out, you was the vibrational, you was the shit. You was the shit. And then you drop from the sea of forgiveness and you drop down in this 3D matter. And you forgot. You have forgotten that you are begotten. Remember that whole show I did on begotten? That's what Jesus said. He's the first begotten of the Father. He's the firstborn of many brothers. Y'all think he's the only one. Damn, that sucks for you. Because you have to think Jesus is the only one. You don't know that you Jesus. So you don't know what Jesus said, even though he said it. The things I have done, you shall do. So you just think that that's only for the elite. So they took that shit out of the Bible and they gave you the slave Bible. Well, you need to go back and get the Ethiopian Bible. Because in there, it says that you need to acknowledge somebody lied to you. Then you need to remove all your energy from that lie. You pull your energy out. That means you do not repeat. You do not argue. Repeat means repent. So what do? You apply your energy to your divinity. That is the have principle centered. That just simply means I have. So do you. Because we have been given everything that we need for life and godliness. You see, brothers and sisters, this is nothing but a big vibrational manipulation where they put a bunch of addresses in the hat. Everybody closed their eyes and picked out an address. And you're playing Russian roulette. And the devil, you, hoping that you run out of time before you match the right key to the right house. So you grab a key, and you go to a house, and that doesn't work. You go to this house, click that doesn't work. You go to this house, click that doesn't work. What I say, I just didn't do what I did. Or what I did. I just did what Yahushua did. What you said, I got an address. I got a will. But in the Garden of Gethsemane, the Big G said, well, I got a will. So you can choose to go to your will address, or you can go to the address that I designed you to go to. Because in that address, everything is also it's fully furnished. Or you can build your own frequency address And you got to buy your own furniture, pay your own bills. You got to work hard. It's done unto you as you believe. So I did that. At first, I worked like a Hebrew. 3 jobs. I created my own dream. I had 23 failed businesses. The biggest one was called VIP, Vision Impact Photography. When I told you guys I was in Mexico and I was doing great. So I crashed and burned because I couldn't find good people. People were stealing, not showing up. And every time I tried, 23 times, I failed. Because it wasn't my address. I was doing what I liked. So I stopped and I sat down and I said, well, okay, what likes me? And I said, for some reason or another, details, like noticing, everybody tells me, man, we like you, Doc, but you, nigga, you ain't retentive. Every girl I ever dated, my kids, everybody who knows me tell me the same thing. Man, you let's harp on little shit. Whole house is clean, you notice one sock in the floor. You notice we spend 8 hours cleaning the house. My wife tells me this almost every day. She'll slave in the kitchen and cook something and I'll say something about one thing. So I gotta fight every day not to open my mouth and insert foot. Because I'm designed to notice shit that nobody else notices. So that's why I get paid. I just took my flaw, which is I'm a perfectionist. I'm a 6. I'm a 33-6. I notice little shit, not big stuff. Because the devil's in the details. So when I read ancient texts, I'll notice, oh shit, his name can't be Jesus because there was no J's. J's only been around for 500 years. Religion's been around for 2,000. But then shit, religion, Christianity can't be the worst religion because it's a baby. Christianity is the newest religion on the planet. All the other ancient religions are older than Christianity. So, you ain't got to be a rocket scientist, and we can go on. What's the point? The point is, I noticed that. Nobody else does. Or very few people. Because I tell them, and they'll be like, well, that doesn't mean, what does it mean? That doesn't mean anything. They can't see it. So I'm like, what do you mean you can't see it? It's right there. And then they look at it like, well, I don't get what you're saying, brother. I said, his name can't be Jesus because that's Greek. And he was, in my dream. So his name was probably Aramaic. Or some, yeah, but what's that mean? So they don't get it. And I'm always like, how come they don't get it? How come they can't see? Then the big G says, they're not designed to see. They don't live there. So I'm supposed to live there, not you. So I can't get mad at you if you don't live where I live. I supposed to take my key, go into my house, close the door, kick back, watch TV. I get paid to do what comes easy to me. And you get paid to do what comes easy to you. But you already got a dream. You already got an electrical magnetic frequency, wave vibration, but it doesn't have shit to do with your spiritual address. So my brothers and my sisters, I recommend you do what Yahushua did. As the Garden of Gethsemane, he was like, take this cup from me. Then he paused and said, hold up, time out. Nevertheless, not my cup, not my frequency, not my key, but your will be done. So I did the same thing. I still repeated failure. I was like, you know what, shit, I'm tired, man. I'm ready to check out of here unless the big G is real. And I remember that prayer like it was yesterday. Because like you, I got frustrated and tired of running around in circles. I was like, shit, there's not an easier way to do this. I'm ready to go on whatever next. And thankfully the big G showed up and said, here's your key. There is your address. You live at 336 Frequency Lane. Stop being a sociopath and a psychopath. You got a life path. When you get on this path, you experience life. And I established the Life Management Center from that awareness. And it's changed my life and the life of countless other people. All you got to do is find and fulfill your purpose. That's it. And that's what I teach. So please join me on August the 15th as we go further down this path that allows you to oscillate and vibrate on a level where there is no devil. Brothers and sisters, make sure that you stay faithful, committed, and willing to your God-given destiny. Not someone else's program, your own individual program. That requires you to love yourself more than you love someone else. Let's start with self-love. Self-love is the best love. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. We'll see you guys later on. God bless.